Would you ride in a driverless taxi or ride share? Can AI drive cars? Your opinion, now on The Brew.
Wow, technology's really catching up with us, and now we got cars that can drive themselves, driverless taxis and Ubers. So, Joel, would you get in one?
Not yet. So I don't think these things are. I think the technology is good. I've gotten into like the slightly automated cars. One of my buddies has one. We drive around in it. The Teslas have that shit too, where you can it'll actually digitally show you what's going on ahead of you, on the side of you, behind you, on a camera in real time. So the cars are getting smarter, if that makes sense. The AI in the cars are getting more accurate. However, there's still a lot of accidents. There's still human error is not so much on the streets as it is in the programming. So my main point is I would, but I wouldn't do it yet. I'm open to the idea, but they need to hammer out some of those features first.
Mine's a 50-50 answer, and I'm going to have to explain it and you'll follow why. Yes, I would, but it depends where. So, for example, in Pittsburgh, where I'm from, Western Pennsylvania, a lot of their streets are actually stairways. So you can't take a car up a stairway, but that's how they're labeled in Pittsburgh. So, no. Yeah. So, no, in Pittsburgh, I would not. Now, here in the New York City metro area, here in Newark, I would probably do it. Jersey City, again, the light rail in some places is labeled as a street. So the last thing you need is your driverless car going down the Hudson Bergen light rail, because eventually here comes the Hudson Bergen light rail. So not there. New York City, maybe I would near the airport on some of the bigger interstates, not on some of the more crazier streets where you're going to have an ambulance, a fire truck, a taxi, something else, a delivery truck that's not where it's supposed to be blocking traffic. So maybe not there. But smaller cities, for example, that are the perfect street grid, things have been laid out the correct way out west where they have it figured out. Yeah, I think I would there, as long as the mapping is verified and secure. Yes, I would in that case. So that's why I'm saying it depends where it is. It depends on whether I would do it or not.
Okay, two things. So one, mapping, even when we take rideshare, mapping is not really accurate all the time. Sometimes there's construction, they completely miss it and get you stuck. Sometimes they just give you the wrong street, so they give you the way too far. And then the other part of that is, how do you know when an emergency vehicle is going to go by? You're not going to know when an ambulance or a fire truck or a cop is going to fly by with the sirens blaring.
Yeah, that's true, and we have that problem here. I mean, now they have those little sensors that make the traffic lights change colors to red here that stop all traffic when an emergency vehicle comes through. But you're right, some guy on a bicycle can blow through too and hit the same thing. So yeah, maybe there's a way that they could work on the technology where emergency vehicles will send out a bigger signal, not so where it's right at the traffic light, but something where you can detect it like a mile out or something like that. But that again would be a partnership between our elected officials and the ride shares and the driverless cars, and you know how that works. You get government involved. Nothing happens real quick, so that's a problem.
Yeah, that I could see what the connection could be. Oh, there's an emergency vehicle in this area. They sent they sent an alert to the producer of whatever electric vehicle that you're in that's an automatic, and it could stop. I could see how that could work. Technically, that could work. But yeah, there's a lot of logistics and bureaucracy that would have to go through.
So robotic technology is here, and it's going to happen, and it's already on the streets there in Vegas. I know it's out in LA and stuff. It's here a little bit. So we're going to have to get used to this coming, but it needs work.
We already have driverless taxis here. That's regular. It's 2023. They're out. They're out now. They're out right now. I guarantee it. There's a whole bunch of people. I've been in ride shares and been like, oh shit, the car next to us is just carrying people in the back and there's no driver. They're very confident in their abilities. And yeah, like you said, you mentioned Vegas, New York, LA, the big cities. That's where they're trying it. There's a lot of traffic. The bar for what you need to perform at is very high in these cities because there's so much traffic. But it's amazing to me so far that there's already people getting in the cars.
There seems like they're rushing it. Maybe some of them, don't they have in Vegas, or don't they actually have a physical person in the right seat with the driver's ed car brake? You know how they had that in high school?
Not necessarily.
Okay, maybe we should have that. I know that defeats the purpose of a driver, because I guess if you still have a dude in the car, that's not really what you want.
Right.
But
And that's why, with your answer, when you said, some smaller towns or some towns out west, you want the control to have an emergency brake on it or something like that. Something you can control at least if you're going to be in there.
Well, our viewers have different answers on this one too, so let's let our viewers chime in right now. You getting in a driverless car, taxi, rideshare? Let's find out. Vamos Yankee says, hell no. That's pretty simple. Rafa Guitar says, it's got to be safer than the freaking nuts driving them now, like Manhattan is the Daytona 500 racetrack. Ed says, on city streets, absolutely. I don't know why, but the highway feels scary, even though the robots are actually better drivers than humans. Ed's got a point there because I see humans navigating carts in the grocery store. We can't do that. We can't really merge onto expressway properly, but maybe the robots have got us on that one.
So I can combine both of my answers because one person said that, oh, it's got to be better than the people driving now. Yeah, pretty much. That's the whole point. Like, so many people are so shitty, and it's not just people bitching about it online and then going, no, but I really don't want to get in one. They really are shitty. People, all the accidents in human history so far have been caused by humans, not robots. So there's got to be, maybe even if the robotic part of it causes a couple accidents, it's not going to be as much as what we have now. At least we don't have the data to confirm how big of a gap that is yet. And that's actually one of the things I'm waiting on before I give you my full answer of like, yeah, sure, I'd be in for that. I think overall, in a long-term type thing, this is probably the future. This is probably what we're going to be at some point. But
definitely, robots.
Points.
I mean, robots are ways for companies to go ahead and keep business going without having to pay people. So yeah, hamburger restaurants are doing that.
Right. It's going down a different avenue.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a way for them to make money, not to pay somebody. So it's going to come. Here's my other question, though, and I talk about location in my answer. Well, how about weather? For example, are you going to put those things out in a street when you're in Juneau, Alaska, and they just got hit with a blizzard? Because obviously that rideshare car can't get up a hill in a blizzard.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good factor. Also, a lot of places you need chains to go on the mountains. I've lived in one of those places. So how do you factor that into a robotic car? Do you do it like what we proposed earlier, where there's an emergency vehicle and it sends out an alert and the car has automatic chains? Is that a possibility? Is that something we have to work on in the future? These questions all have to be answered before I'm going to be like, yeah, sure, let me get in one of those. Come on, bud. Come on, Kristen.
Maybe the scientists should watch Total Recall and look at the Johnny Cabs they have in there. Robert Ricardo, from the Doctor from Star Trek's the voice of that. But they haven't figured out that's automated. Maybe that's our future.
It is. It's slowly heading that way. My dog is chilling. He's now licking his balls. He was listening to your answer, though.
Well, let's see if some more of our viewers. We got a couple more answers to get through because Sam I Am says, hell no, and I don't want those things on the streets with me either. And Starman has an interesting point. Do I get a discount? Do I not have to tip? If there's no one driving this thing, then I shouldn't have to pay full price for the fare, right? Oh, here comes the tipping again. So yeah, I mean, if it is a computer automatically driving you around, do you got a tip?
Shit, man. We should be so past the tipping thing. Dude, every gas station I go to, they ask for a tip. Gas station, convenience store, everything asks for a tip right now. Everything. And I'm like, okay, what if I go up and I'm like, I can't afford to? And they're like, oh, you can afford to if you can afford to eat out. Or you can afford to if you can afford to eat at a convenience store. Well, no, you are an essential business.
I know, that's a whole different subject there. That's a slippery slope to go.
We brought it up with the cars. I mean, do you tip right now when you take a ride share? And if you do, why? Because Lyft and Uber are mega corporations. Their CEOs have yachts upon yachts upon yachts, upon mansions upon mansions upon mansions. And then you go, okay, they'll send you an email that says, hey, drivers are an essential part of this business. Do you feel like tipping? Well, what's your answer to that? It's hard because the information is these guys can pay these guys a reasonable wage already and just choose not to.
Well, let's get to the poll right now and see a non-tipping poll. But let's see, are you getting into a ride share, an Uber, or driving a driverless car? Or in a driverless car? Let's find out. Because, 67% said no, you are not getting a driverless taxi or ride share. 33% says yeah. 2/3 of our poll are saying no, they're not doing it. 1/3 of our polls say they are. So that's pretty skewed.
Yeah, but also it's probably like 2 out of 3 people. And most of the people that answer your polls are kind of older. And so I could see why people would be resistant to change on this. I wouldn't yet. I would agree with them still in this moment, but I'm not. But my answer is kind of open-ended, kind of like how your answer is open-ended.
Yes, that poll here in late 2023, at the time of this streaming, 2/3 say they're not, but maybe they're waiting for the technology like you. But you know where technology is solid and good? When you click that like, subscribe button for all the fun here on the big Jersey Joe 50 YouTube channel. Hey, look at that. Yeah, no AI here. It's me pushing these buttons right here because I got the typos on the air to prove it. There you go.
That's right. Until Jersey Joe's liver gives out from drinking too much, he's gonna be here.
Hey, keep that off the web. But hey, you know what though? It's good though, because if I have one too many, then you need to call a rideshare. So perhaps that's where the robots will come into order. Look, I wrapped it all up
Right, and that's
again.
why we both have so much experience with rideshare already.
There you go. All right, I'm about to hit one up right now. All right, Jersey Joe, I am you saying thanks for watching, thanks for great answers, and we'll see you next time, I hope.
Jersey Joe has another funny and crazy set of 911 calls and citizen app alerts, this time from Charlotte. See who's scared of a hoverboard.